freezing. But welcome back to another stream. Today we're doing the aftermath, the event that took place last night in Hull at Bar Babylon, and we're also just going to do a little quick aftermath of Hull Fair because Hull Fair is now finished, and as I'm currently streaming this right now, most of Hull Fair will have been packed down. There might be like just the odd thing that's still there, but most of it will have gone that I'm aware of. Some rides they start packing down last night, so when it gets to about 9, 10 o'clock and the fair starts to die down, some rides, especially like inflatables and things that have got wet, they think like no one else is going to ride anymore, so we might as well just pack down and get ready. And some people, they don't care about sleep, so they just, we'll hit the road and we'll get out of Hull on the early hours and stuff like that. So for me, we've had a really, really good Hull Fair. So I want to give my sort of like thoughts on Hull Fair this year. I want to give my opinions on what I've enjoyed about Hull Fair this year, of being a part of it and kind of doing the music. So this time I've not actually been on any rides, believe it or not, and I just, I did a lot of more like just helping out with the fair, and I helped out on some of the waltzers, and not just by doing music. And I kind of sort of attended the fair in a little bit of a different light this time, rather than going and spending money on all the rides and stuff. And some of the rides weren't too badly priced, but you think like, some of the waltzers were like £4 a ride, so you go on two rides that are £4 a ride, like you've spent £8 right there. And when you think like what that could get you, like you could go to a shop, and I know £8's not a massive amount of money, but you can get a few bits in like food wise for shopping and stuff. And with the things that I've done at the fair this year, among still having fun, I've been paid and rewarded for it. So for me, it kind of felt like that added bonus that I actually went to the fair, and I actually earned money instead of just going and spending money, and it felt like a really cool thing. Big shout, welcome in, welcome in. So I've enjoyed seeing that side of Hull Fair this year, as opposed to just going and riding. So I want to thank the waltzers. I want to thank Terry Affers, and I want to thank the Crow Energy Storm for having me and be a part of their rides. And I DJ'd on the Terry Affers a couple of times, which was, it was really fun to do. And then I also did a little bit of MCing on the Energy Crow Storm Waltzer, which was a really, really fun thing to do. And basically just had an absolutely amazing time. And then I helped out on the Energy Crow Storm. I got some customers on and helped the happy hour sign, and did did a little bit more helping out with the general ride, which was quite an enjoyable thing to do. So big shout to Ben for getting me on with that ride. It was a really cool thing to do. And I've always kind of wondered like, how do these rides work, how are they controlled, and what goes into running one of these rides. And I really got to see that, and it was a really cool experience, because when you go and you just ride, all you really know is, you see a woman, you see a woman or a man sat in a box, and you sit on a ride, and then the next minute you're spinning round. But how does it actually work? And it was really cool. They have to pull this lever, and then they've got all these different like switches and buttons on the computer that change all the lights. And it's really good. Honestly, it was really good. I also met a little bit of superstar at the fair as well. I met a guy called PT Vlogs. You might know him on YouTube, and he does like he's like a fairground related channel, and he kind of like he goes to different fairgrounds and he like vlogs them. So he vlogs like he goes to a fair when it's setting up, and he'll vlog like the process of them like building the rides, and then he'll do like updates of the build, and then he'll do countless vlogs around the fair, and he'll ride on different rides, and he'll rate the rides, and a really cool guy. When I was working on the Energy Crowstorm Walser, he actually came over to the Walser, and he actually came and rode on it, and he was doing a vlog which was he went on all seven waltzes around the whole fair and he was rating them. And I made a little appearance in his video that got uploaded today. Not a mega appearance. It was more like you could just see me in the background, but I still felt quite buzzed. That's a little bit of hidden history there. That on that video I'm stood there. The guy who went viral on TikTok for Scarborough Beach is stood there in that video, and somebody you never know might just watch that video and they might just go, wait, is that the guy off TikTok? And that is like the whole fun, the whole beauty of it. So I was proper really buzzed. So in terms of the general fair, what did I think of the fair? Now, I think the fair is really good. I love the fair. I absolutely love I absolutely love the fair. I think it just brings a really good vibe. The one thing I would have to say, like, if I was going to criticize the fair in any way, shape, or form, is repeated things, a lot of repeated things. So there's a lot of repeated rides. So, for example, there were seven waltzers at the fair this year. There were seven waltzers. Now, waltzers, you might get some that maybe go a little bit faster than others, but at the end of the day, like a waltzer's a waltzer, and I think seven of them is a bit steep. I can understand like maybe having like two or three different ones, but like it was at the point where like this year, like there was two waltzers. Well, there was an occasion. So you had the Terry Affers and then you had the Clarks XL, and they're like literally opposite each other. And then you've got the Atmosphere Creator, and then you've got the Energy Crowstorm, and they are like pretty much, you know, they are obviously, they're right more or less opposite each other. And then you go like slightly up a little bit and a couple more rides down, and you've got the Robinsons Waltzer. And I just think, I just think personally, there's just too many of the same rides in that sense. Like I don't think you need seven waltzers. I can understand like two or three, maybe four, but I think seven just tucks the pushes the boat a little bit. You've got a waltzer that's not actually in the fair itself. It's just off of Walton Street. I think it's like sort of in one of the pub car parks. That I can understand having that one because it's just out of the way from like where all the other stuff are. But like just to the point where you've more or less got them opposite each other, I think it's just if you ask me, I think it's just a little bit because I just think a waltzer's a waltzer, and like you've been on one, like why are you gonna pay like £4 to go on another one? Like I know that they've all got their own different vibes and their own different styles, but I just think to have that many and to have them right near each other, I just think is a little bit for me. And then another thing that I think is really repetitive is food. So like we have the massive Walton Street, and we have loads of really cool bits of food. Like we've got the Bob Carver's fish and chips. There was there was the addition of like a kebab stall this year. However, there's so many stalls where you can get like a burger and a hot dog and some fries. And I know that it's probably like that most years, but I just think, come on, Is there no way that, is it, could we not have like, is there not a stall that where you could like, I don't know, like I'm just trying to think of different ways of having some different stalls, so it's not all so it's not all the exception of having having the same stall. So what about maybe like just a stall where you can just like maybe get hot drinks, like just a tea, a coffee, a hot chocolate, and maybe like cups of soup. Maybe have like a cup of soup or something like that. Maybe a little like stall where you could have some additional seats and you could just sit down on some little outdoor seating, weather providing. Um, is there no way that we could kind of have like a store where you could maybe get like some curries? You could get some small little takeaway curries or something. I just think there's like just there's like there's loads of where you can get like burgers, hot dogs, the usual jumbo hot dogs, burgers, chips with gravy, chips with curry, and I'm just trying to think like, is there a way that we could like have something a bit different? Like, could we not have like I don't know, like a little miniature like Subway store where you could get like sandwiches, just like foot long sandwiches. I'm not saying like these are perfect ideas to the solution, if there really needs to be a solution, but it was like every other food stall was like selling burgers, hot dogs, and I just think it would be really cool if they had a little bit more to offer, like the Bob Carvers. That's unique. Having the Yorkshire pudding wraps, that's unique. Having the kebab stall, that was a unique addition this year. And then having things like the Chinese and the noodles, that's unique. And then you've got your sweets and your brandy snap and your donuts. But then the rest of it is just kind of like your burgers and hot dogs. So yeah, so I think just a little bit too much of the repeat. And then I think really the third and final thing I would really say is everybody. I felt like they was trying to battle each other this year, especially in terms of the waltzers. Like it felt like obviously I've done the Evans, for a couple of years in the past, and I didn't do it this year, and I got the opportunity of doing another waltzer, but it almost kind of to me felt like everybody has kind of seen what the Evans can do, and then now it's like they kind of want to do it, and suddenly all of these like, oh, we've got this DJ on tonight and we've got that DJ on tonight, which don't get me wrong, I think it's cool, and it's a cool thing to do, but I just feel like it felt like it was a battle, and I think like everybody should just like support each other's ride, and like support what's going on, like because I didn't do the Evans this year. Like people were saying, sell out, but I wasn't selling out. I didn't get asked to go on that ride, and then I still went to that ride and watched it and showed my support to the other DJs that were playing on there. I just don't think there needs to be. I just don't think that there needs to be like this battle between the rides. I think it's just a stupid battle when we could all support each other. Like we've got a banging ride, but go and check out that ride because they've got something cool going on as well. And I know like at the end of the day, that it's all they want to get more customers on their ride. They don't in a way they don't want to send them to another ride where they're potentially gonna go on that ride instead, but just like go on that ride as well. I just think support and share is the way to do it, most definitely. um Russian or Ukraine, I'm not answering that one, so see you later. Don't put stupid questions. So yeah, so that was that. So Hull Fair, I think this year, I think it was a success. I think it was a really busy year. So that was really good. It was a proper. It felt like it was extra busy this year, and everybody was just having a whale of a time. So that was really good. So Hull Fair was definitely good for me. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for it to return next year. We've got a good 12 months now to wait. Well, just under 12 months, and it'll be here again. In 12 months it'll be over. It would be packing away again. So, 24 months and it'll be packing away again. But I'm really looking forward to it. So let's move on to Bar Babylon. The main reason of the stream, Hull Fair took up a big chunk of the stream, but Bar Babylon, Bring the Sauce. So Bring the Sauce launched in Bar Babylon last night, and I got added to the lineup. So it was originally supposed to be, I believe, in Scunthorpe or Grimsby. And anyway, I think wherever they was gonna originally have it was the venue closed down, or they bailed on the promoter at the last minute, so it moved to Hull. And then some of the DJs that were going to originally play could now no longer play. So the venue and the date got moved for the event, and it then moved to Hull, and the promoter opened up and said, look, we're looking for some DJs who would be interested in playing, and it was literally about 3 minutes away from my house. So I was like, look, what's the crack, what's going on? I'd be down for doing a set. I do that sometimes. I like to push myself, or if there's an opportunity that I can grab it, and I can have a fun night, then I like to grab it. So I got onto the lineup. I was like, oh, I only live like 3 minutes away. I'm happy to come down. And that night was last night. And all I can say is, well, I'm going to say a lot of things, actually, a lot of good things. But one thing I can say is it was a success. It was really good. And not only like was it good, but like the bar staff, the security, the person who owns the place, like the manager and stuff, like they were happy. And when you've got them kind of people happy, you know that you've done a good job, and like they want the brand, and they want us to come back, which is really good. And not to shoot myself in the foot, but they want the brand to come back, with the exception of me. They want me to come back as well, and we'll get on to that in a moment. But it was a success. It did really well, and it was really good. So the venue itself, it's situated in like the old town of Hull. So there's different types of events, and there's different types of nights out. So um, so you've got raves. So raves are like your typical banging, ticketed. Let's put a headliner on. Let's have a themed genre night. It's a bounce night. It's donk. If you love your donk and bounce, then you come to this event, and Whip is headlining. And that's all good and gravy. And, the same. We've got it's a trance night. If you love your trance, and we've got Paul Van Dyke headlining, that kind of thing. You've got them kind of nights. And then you've got like what you would call like town bars, and clubs in town that you wouldn't really think too much. They're not really rave venues. So it's people that have been round a few pubs in the town. They're legless, and they come in, and there's normally a resident DJ who will normally, like, he'll probably spin like some R&B, little bit of house music, and he'll spin some hip hop. And 9 times out of 10, some of it like won't even be like beat matching. Like he'll just go from like an R&B track to like a dance track, and then he'll go from like a dance track to maybe like a hip hop track, and he'll probably play like everybody's requests at some point. So that's the kind of venue that we was in, sort of last night, and it's just a mad old story. So I knew, like, I've never been in the venue before, but I knew what sort of venue it was. So I knew that, like, we couldn't really just turn up and rave it up, you know. Sometimes it can work on, like, the odd occasion. You get some people in and they find out that, you know, actually I'm having a sick time. But 9 times out of 10, like, you just kill the vibe and people would be like, you know, that this isn't for me, you know, and then they'll move on and they'll go to another bar where it's not as loud and it's not as banging. So I, prior to the event, had told people in the group chat that this venue is a very commercial sort of venue, and they won't like people just turning up and raving it up and, you know, slamming your hardest dance known to man through the sound system. You know, is not really going to do it. It's not really going to cut it. So unfortunately, like, for people that like to play harder sets and stuff, like, that had to be kind of thrown out the window, because I didn't personally think it would work. However, the night proved to be a little bit different. So I plan to play some house music. I plan to play, like, a classic house set, with some bootlegs and with some remixes, and I just plan to do something like pretty cool, in that sense. So, and I actually got a little giddy and excited about it because I hadn't played a house set in a long time, and I was quite buzzed for it, and I found some old school bootlegs, and I thought, oh, I can't wait to drop some of these, a proper retro set. And did I play that? No, I actually didn't. Well, I played probably about four. I probably played about 4 or 5 tracks, of this, of these tunes, and that was probably about it. And then it all changed. So I was on at 8. So I arrived at the club. I think I arrived at round about, I think somewhere just after 7, probably about 5 past 7 or something like that. And I ain't gonna lie to you, the venue was very quiet. The venue was, you know, there wasn't really many people in. The event started at 5, which I think was just a little bit too early, in all honesty. And yeah, the venue opened at 5. I got there just after 7. There was a few people in, you know, probably around about 20 people. Wasn't really all that too busy. But the guy who was on, my friend Guy, he was playing a really good house set actually. Like, I really rated it. It was really groovy. It was really nice. And I was texting my friend at the time, saying, you know, there's not many here at the moment. The house set's good. And I was like, I like it. And he was like, yeah, but you like house. And I was like, yeah, I do, to be honest. And all that. And I was kind of still excited about playing mine because I just like playing. And then, sort of towards the end of his set, a few more people had ventured in, and it started to look ever so slightly more lively, which was a good sign. And then I jumped on the decks. I started playing my house tunes, and the club filled up even more by this point, and it started to look lively. It started to look, you know, like there's quite a few people in now. It's starting to, you know, we've gone from the initial like 20 people to, you know, there's probably about 50 or 60 people in now, which was, you know, which was really good in that sense. And I started playing my set, and instantly, girls are coming up to me, and a girl said, "Look, have you, you know, you haven't by any chance got any Spice Girls, have you?" And I was like, "Yep, it's going to be one of these kind of sets, isn't it?" And I said, "Look, I might, you know, because I have a big folder called House Remixes, and at the time when I put that folder together, I got loads of I found like loads of remixes of just like well-known chart songs and dance tunes. So I thought, you know, I might have maybe like just got a remix of the odd Spice Girl tune or something, that I could play. And then someone said, you know, you haven't got American Boy by Estelle, have you? And I knew that I had a version of that. But I said I'd have a look for it, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't remember what it was, like who had done the remix of it. But that I know of it, it was like like a proper bass house version, which I don't know how well that would have gone off. So I was kind of like, and then some more people requested stuff, and I was just like, I'm not really taking requests here. And then two girls came up to me and they said, you couldn't play Pretty Green Eyes, could you? And I thought, this is a crucial moment. This, like, because Pretty Green Eyes, like, I don't have a house version of it. So by this point, it was make or break. It was the only Pretty Green Eyes I could play was the original Clubland one, which I've got it, but it's not the best quality. It's a little bit quiet. So when I'm doing Clubland sets, I like to play a Critical Mass remix. It's a little bit more heavy and harder, but it's still quite sort of similar to the original, and it's enough for people to recognise it, and it's got all the right vibes of the original, and it still has that, like, I forget the name of the instrument, but it goes like do, and that's still in there and all of that stuff. So by this point, I thought it's make or break, because I'm about to change from house here, and I'm about to go up to like Scouse House, sort of Clubland, sort of bounce vibes. That track is originally at 150. So what I did was I was playing the house at 130. So I pitched the house track I was playing. I pitched it up to 135, and I pitched the Pretty Green Eyes track down to 135 from 150, which was it's a big drop, is that. And I mixed it in, and then I pitched it up to 140 very quickly. So you mix it in, and it goes into a breakdown, and there's probably about a 3 second gap before anything happens in the breakdown, and I used that as an opportunity to pitch it up, and I pitched it to 140. So I thought, because I don't want to go too fast and I don't want to kill the vibe. But we'll see, like, if this woman, if people like Pretty Green Eyes. So the next minute, Pretty Green Eyes, it starts playing, and the whole venue just erupts, and everybody's singing. By this point, more people have probably ventured in, so we've probably got around 70 people in. Bearing in mind, this is not the biggest venue in the world. It's not a massive club. So having 70 people in makes it look, like it's doing quite well. So that was really good in that sense. And yeah, and then I followed on from Pretty Green Eyes and played like stuff like Entrance, Set You Free, played a remix of CeeLo Green, Forget You, and just played some like real well-known sing-along stuff. I didn't go too much into like, let's drop loads of Scooter, and let's drop like, Italio Brothers, and stuff like that. I thought, like, I can't, you can't drop stuff like that, unfortunately. That's just unfortunately, I just thought that might be a bit too hard for them, and a bit sort of, it's Clubland, but it's like with Clubland, there's Clubland and there's Clubland. So there's like the Clubland tracks that, even if you aren't necessarily a big, raver, or you're not really big into your dance music, there's Clubland tracks that you'll like Pretty Green Eyes, Set You Free. They were absolutely massive, and Set You Free was originally a Euro dance 90s song. And Pretty Green Eyes was like a 2004 sort of Scouse House sort of trancey Clubland tune. But it was well known, it was big. You would have heard it at some point. It broke radio. It sold hundreds of thousands of copies. So it was obviously one of them tunes where You don't have to necessarily know your clubland as such, but you would have heard that track at some point, and you'll know it, and you'll probably know to sing along to it. And then there's the clubland where, like, you was a big clubland fan, you bought all the albums, and sort of like, like most of the tracks, and stuff that wasn't necessarily like the biggest clubland sellers, if that makes sense, you know. So I tried not to play them where they were kind of like less commercial, and I had a really good set. Like it really just, it just really, really, really just went down a storm and a treat. So that happened. I came off, and then Anna took over, played her set, and this is where it gets even madder. So she comes off, she comes on, sorry, I come off, and everybody's gutted. Everybody's like, "Why is he coming off? What's happening? We don't want this guy to come off." Um, so she goes on, and currently, as she's going on, people are coming up to the booth and talking to her, and I'm just sat there. I'm thinking she's getting a lot of requests, isn't she? And she was getting a lot of requests, but the requests that she was getting was that I went back on the decks. It was mad. The bar staff, they were saying, like, they were wanting me to go back on as well, which was absolutely crazy. And then, like, the security, they was like, he smashed it. And then the guy on the smoke machine, who was like the manager of the place, he was like, this guy absolutely did really well. Like, we want him to go back on. And just before Anna went on, um, basically, um, like she was saying, like, how am I gonna follow you? And I thought, well, you've heard what I've played. Have you got any? Have you got anything similar? Have you got anything that's gonna be very sing along, very commercial? Because this is the thing. What I was playing. There was a lot of vocals in it. It was very, there was a chorus that everybody would know. There was words, people would be singing. Um, and unfortunately, she didn't follow that, and she went into this like, like banging sort of pumping tech house, and there wasn't loads of vocals in it. There was a few tracks now and again that were well known and a few melodies, but there was nothing like, where you could have a good old sing song to. And I realised that the crowd that was in, like, there was people that liked, they liked this, something they could sing along to if they knew the words, and they would all sing and stuff like that, and that was kind of, like, that was kind of, what was needed. Like literally I could have gone, and I could have thrown, like, I could have just gone into an 80s playlist and played like an 80s track, and like people would have sang along like that. That's the type of crowd it was. Like, if it was commercial, if it was, if it was well known, the crowd would have sang it. Um, you know, so I played, like, in the end, like a Clubland and Bounce set, and I'll tell you a bit more in a minute. But like, it wasn't the fact that I was playing a Clubland and a Bounce set. I could have gone there and I could have played the hardest donk set known to man. And I could have blasted some heavy donks at 155. People would have left. People wouldn't have liked it. People wouldn't have enjoyed it. But because I played donk, but I pitched it down and I played it at 145, and every track was like something well known. It was a sing along. Everybody recognised it. Everybody loved it. Everybody sang along to it. It helped. It really, really helped. It really, it was absolutely crazy. So Anna's playing, and everybody's requesting I go back on. So it gets to probably about 45 minutes into her set, and she takes the headphones off. She calls me over. She's like, "You take over. I can't follow this crowd. All they're saying is they want you back on. They want me to come back on." So I was thinking, right, what am I gonna do here? I've got this option. Like, can I go donk, but can I like slow it down and keep it on a commercial enough level? So I started on the Cheese and Pitch Invader remix of Alex Party Your Life, and luckily they go quite commercial and organy with that track, which was really really good. Um, so that really helped, and on their breakdown it starts with just an a cappella. You treated me bad, now what can I say? So I started that, and instantly people started singing it. So I thought, all right, this is cool. This is absolutely fantastic. This is amazing. This is everything that you want. And then I just went on from there. I just absolutely just decided, like to just carry on going on this kind of like donk mix. But like I say, everything was slowed down. Everything was like pretty much like as commercial as possible. There was the odd like hardish drop in there, but it was slowed right down, so it sounded a little more EDM-y as opposed to hard. And it still seemed to go quite well, and just the fact that like there was choruses that they could sing along to was like a really good thing. Really worked well. So I played loads of stuff. I played Benjamin's I Got a Feeling. I just played absolutely like loads of sing-alongs, and the guy who was supposed to be on at 9 o'clock, was it 9 or no? He was supposed to be on at 10. Sorry, didn't show up, so I ended up just staying on. And in all honesty, like I was just having the time of my life. And by this point, the club got busier and busier to the point where the place was heaving. It was absolutely rammed. And I played all sorts. I played a remix of Don't You Worry Child, and everybody, they're all just singing along. And in all honesty, like there was so many tracks that I could have played. I was thinking in my mind, like, what can I play next? What are they going to sing along to? And there were so many, you know, there was some absolutely amazing tunes that I could have dropped. Like I could have dropped a remix of Snow Patrol, Chasing Cars, and they would have sang it. It was that kind of vibe. And then I dropped some stuff like a remix of I Wanna Dance with Somebody, and I could have done stuff like Because of You, that I didn't get a chance to drop, because time just flew. Time just absolutely flew by. I tried to do some quick mixes. I tried to do a little bit of different mixing, so it wasn't just like banging out a donk set as such. And it was just honestly the vibe was just unreal. It was just yeah, it was just amazing. It was just mad that I went back on, and the place was just heaving, and I had it absolutely rammed. And like the promoter just didn't. I don't even think like she just couldn't believe what had happened. She couldn't believe how busy it had got. She couldn't believe how well I'd gone down. Not to sound big-headed, and I couldn't believe it myself. Because I went there like literally about 10 minutes before I left, and all the way up to playing my set. Like I planned to play this house set. None of this was even in my mind that I'm going to go here and do all of this. And I've realised that doing like clubland and commercial bounce sets, like I've realised now, like when I'm DJing and when I'm doing a gig, and when I'm playing a set, I've realised now that that is the vibe I love. I love being up there, and just like, don't get me wrong, I love tracks with really hard, heavy drops. I love it. But I've realised now for me, what gives me the most like excitement and pleasure is when I'm on a set and you play just like a really well known track and the whole club's just singing the chorus. Like, you cannot beat the vibe. You can't beat it. Like, I could be, I don't know, I could be playing like a hard trance set in a room too, and I'd probably enjoy myself, but there's just no feeling to, when you're up there and you've got something like Living on a Prayer, and you've got the chorus, and then you dip the volume and the whole club's just singing it. You can't beat it. Like, for me, that is the ultimate, like, where I wanna be as a DJ. That, for me, I want to do these like commercial parties, like where you are, you know, where you can get away with still playing like the bounce and the donk and the clubland, but you do it in a way that it's still quite commercial, so it's still a bit faster and banging, but it's still got all that elements of a commercial track there that will make people sing along. And they might not necessarily like the bounce and the clubland, but because they know all the choruses and the verses, it kind of works within their favour. So yeah, there we go. So I took off the decks, and then the next people came on, and they went into like some hard David Rust stuff, unfortunately, and everybody just sort of filtered away, and slowly the venue just gradually, got a little bit more quieter. And after me, it was just the rest of the night just kind of went back to, it started to quieten down, and then it got to like the final sort of hour of the night, and there wasn't really many people there again. Few people ventured in for a little bit and then left again. And it was just one of them, it sort of come to the end of the vibe, if you like, and some of them didn't mind, like some of the art sort of David Russ stuff. They recognised some of the vocals, but then I think after a while it was just a bit too not really their thing. There was a couple of tracks they recognised, so they stuck around for a bit, but then they just kind of left, if that makes sense. So it was a really good night, and we had a really good crowd. We had a good crowd, but what you've got to remember is it's a town venue, so people will come, and you might have a point where the venue is absolutely rammed, but your mission is to get them to stay. You can have them for so long, but then if there's something that all right, I'm bored now, I want to go somewhere else, they're gonna go somewhere else, and if they're not feeling the vibe, then they're not going to go then they're going to go somewhere else where where there's a vibe, and unfortunately, nothing against David Rust and nothing against like hard techno and stuff like that, but unfortunately, like it's towny people. I got away with playing like a bounce and donk, but every track was something commercial. It was a Black Eyed Peas song. It was, it was I want to dance with somebody. Swedish House Mafia. Songs that have been like, maybe at one point they maybe been like number ones on it, been like massive tunes in the charts and stuff like that, and stuff that people, it's pure cheese. Venga Boys, people, oh, Venga Boys is too cheesy for me, but it gets a crowd going. People know it, people sing it, and the people that prefer harder music can argue with it all day. The truth is, and the fact of the matter is, it's commercial stuff that that gets people involved. And even look at people like Andy Whitby. Listen to his Bounce 7 podcast. Listen to what he plays in sets. Every tune is a well-known vocal track. It's a cheesy set, but what does he do? He pulls in hundreds of people in his crowd, because that's the type of person he is. It's not just boom 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 boom, with no vocals. So with that being said, I call the night a success. So a massive thank you to Anna for booking me. It's greatly appreciated. And I am going to go now, and I'm going to cook some tea because I'm absolutely starving. I've not actually eaten anything yet today. I've not even actually been up long. I've been awake a while, but I woke up. I think I woke up about 10:30 this morning, and I was laid for a little bit, and I was on my phone, and then I thought, I need to go out and get a little bit of shopping today. So I'm going to get up and do that. I was debating whether to go for a ride on the bike, and I could have done, but I just felt like I couldn't be bothered, like in all honesty. And it got to about dinner time, and I just felt really warm and relaxed in bed, and I thought, you know what, like I could just have a little nap. So I did. I just put my phone down and went back to sleep for a little bit. Probably laid in bed till about 2:30, 2:45, and then just thought, you know what, I need to get up and go and get this bit of shopping now. So I got up and did that, and then I've come back to stream. So I've had a very chilled out day, if you like. And yeah, I'm absolutely, really happy with how the event went last night. So I'm only, again, I don't like to shoot myself in the foot. I don't like to, sound big-headed, but I think it's fair to say that I will be at the next one. And I think, that there'd be one or two people saying, how come you haven't, booked Noble this time? If I wasn't, and that's not to sound big-headed. That's just from the vibe of what everybody said last night. So I don't know how I did it. I don't, I sit there and I think I can't believe like I pulled a crowd in like that, and I got the dance floor as rocking as I did. I want to compare it to. So I went to No Man's Land outdoors, and Kirby and Owen NRG went back to back, and they just instantly filled the tent, and that was kind of like what happened with me last night, but a bit more on a commercial level. So it was just mad. Like I don't really know how I did it. I just played one woman's request for Pretty Green Eyes, and that the rest was history. And I was really unsure about playing the Pretty Green Eyes at first. I thought, can I even play this? Like, are people even going to sing to this? And then, and even then when I like played the Clublandy stuff and went into the bouncy stuff, like even the bar staff and stuff, that's when they was like, he's smashing it. I think when I was just playing at house, I was just just the next average DJ that came on. But I don't know what it was. But there we go. So make sure to like, comment, share,